What's up, guys? Kevin Cage back with another XRP update. Let's get right into it. So first off, I want to allude to some old news in 2017 and then go back to what we know today. So DLocal is how I pronounce it. They're a well-known RippleNet partner from years ago. Notice in 2017, they also added WeChat Pay, Alipay, and Union Pay to the portfolio of emerging market payments. Now we're going to look at the trends in the trillions of dollars involved and just show that, yes, a lot of these organizations are future-proofing and they're all connected. So firstly, DLocal, Alipay connected, WeChat, so Tencent, and of course Alibaba, the two behemoths out of China. We can see right here, specializing in cross-border payments for emerging markets. Same vernacular, same verbiage, I should say. 200 local payment methods, local credit cards, cash payments, bank transfers in the Asian Pacific region, Latin America, Eastern Europe, Middle East, etc. Now this is massive, and of course DLocal in recent news has been very busy in Brazil, another BRICS nation with China. And remember, Ripple said that Brazil and the Brazilian real and the on-demand liquidity corridor they're focusing on is going to be a central part for their rollout plan, which again, XRP specifically uses XRP to settle payments. Now remember, we're going to talk a little bit about the LOC, the line of credit that RippleNet users can now use, which is specific utility for XRP, buying XRP on credit, which creates demand out of thin air when you're paying interest. So you guys can see why I'm excited in speculating. Of course, this is not connecting to some degree, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. So first off, DLocal, fintech, specializing in cross-border emerging markets. This is back then. We can see China's three major digital payments platform providers. Onto its award-winning platform, these three providers collectively capture over 70% of the Chinese market. Remember, trends are your friends. We can see the CAGR for e-commerce exploding. Now, this is in 2017. Well, we can see it translated then into almost $3 trillion in online payments in actually 2016. Look at that. Now, notice, DLocal will enable global merchants to reach 300 million Chinese consumers. Now, what else have we seen? Well, another BRICS nation, just like China with this BSN, these new blockchain networks that we're seeing. Well, now we saw another group out of Russia, another BRICS nation with Sberbank seeking central bank's approval for a blockchain platform. Do you see what is happening? Distributed ledger tech is having a rippling effect throughout this ecosystem. It's not just XRP, it's not just Ethereum, it's not just Bitcoin, it's everything. Now, tokens may or may not be needed for everything, but the use case for XRP, it is absolutely needed. The tokenomics are sound, and if they capture even fractions of this market, the upside is tremendous. There's no debating that whatsoever. All right? Notice cross-border e-commerce in China reached nearly $40 billion in 2015 alone. And they're expecting it to grow as well, expecting $1 trillion in China by 2020. I'd be curious to go look at that number again and see what it is today. All right, so anyways, we're going to keep moving, but just keep an eye on these markets. This is global. This is not just in one region. It's not just the BRICS nations. It is all of them, and specifically a lot where all these on-demand liquidity corridors are being built. Remember, I believe in a lot of projects, but the most core component for any success of a future crypto asset, in my opinion, is liquidity. That is the catch-all term, all right? Liquidity begets liquidity, as Chris Larson often says. Now, money flows where it's easy to go. So, I already talked about this. Now, I actually want to show you this document. Now, this is shared actually by Rath Economan, phenomenal researcher in the community. Please follow him on Twitter if you are not doing so already. Right here, a new fintech company, KM Projects, is advertising their facility in implementing Ripple as a part of transaction banking. Remember, transaction banking is where all the friction and fragmentation is, aka opportunity. Now, some people see all the bad, whereas I see the opportunity in that. So, based in Morocco and France, they claim to address African expansion. Remember, unbanked and underbanked populations, just over 3 trillion people in the world. So yes, this is happening. We can see in transaction banking, remember, Ripple's threatening these big dinosaur financial institutions that have monopolies over the correspondent banking network, just like JP Morgan coin coming out with JPM coin. It does no purpose whatsoever. It is simply an IOU. Facebook's Libra, it is literally just an IOU database masquerading as blockchain. Could they be successful? Possibly, but there are many battles going on. It's not Bitcoin versus XRP. It's geopolitical tensions of countries, of bankers, of corporations like Facebook. So this is all happening. And remember, we are betting in the future that hopefully DLT is successful as a financially inclusive technology. If it's not, I think that DLT will be a massive failure, and I myself will be very disappointed. However, based off of the current route of things, I think that we are past the point of no return. So, just to kind of show you this briefly, I'll just control F. It's only a 7-page document, nothing crazy. So right here, we can see integration, Ripple, and some people would say this is not the company Ripple, but they have the logo right there. Again, I do not speak French, but I can assume this is just some type of module integration of the gateway, perhaps into RippleNet, the actual suite of software. We can see the ISO. Remember, Ripple's the only DLT group to join the standards body thus far. Maybe that's just another coincidence. Temenos, one of the world's biggest banking softwares. As you guys know, you can Google this yourself. They have about, 3,000 clients, which is RippleNet enabled as well with the T24 stack and the BlueZell Altitude Gateway. Then you can go back to groups like Finastra, which is RippleNet enabled with another 9,000 partners in the world and the top 48 of the top 50 banks in the world. And then we're going to show Finabler, which is just another behemoth. My point is this. XRP is not the price we want today. I understand that. It is also not serving or solving the problem at scale like we want today, but it is one of the very few digital assets that is already in live production, well over $1 billion in transfers for financial institutions, not us. Now, yes, our speculation, the retail money, can help a little bit and provide organic liquidity to jumpstart the network, but my eyes are on much bigger targets for the future and success of this ecosystem. It is hero or zero. All right, transaction banking showing Ripple, ISO, Swift GPI, etc. Remember, there's very few problems that actually solve the settlement issue of the correspondent banking network. All right, any other competitor you see, RTGS Global or Utility Settlement Token or Libra or JPM Coin, they are not competitors, true competitors to XRP. Right, there's still counterparty risk or some other trade-off. So, talked about that. Wanted to allude to this quickly. I'm just going to summarize this. So right here, guys, we have Bittrex FTX Exchange recently began listing popular American equities on their platform thanks to a passportable licensing software. Remember, with asset tokenization, stocks and shares, Tesla, Facebook, Google, all of this will eventually be available to more people. We know the SEC are changing the guidelines for what it means to be an accredited investor. As a U.S. citizen, pardon my French, but I'm frankly just pissed off about the limitations that they give us. It really does limit a lot of opportunity that some people maybe in other nations or throughout Europe have a lot more opportunity as investors per se. Now there is opportunity in America. I'm not, dismissing that by any means. But there's pros and cons to everything. So nothing's perfect, right? CM Equity software lays the ground for future innovations such as crypto equity index products. Interesting. So just like we have ETPs, exchange traded products for Bitcoin and futures, there's these things that are going to be blended. So I'm very curious what those will be like, the future index funds. All right. Also, another one from Wrath Economy today. So Ripple partner, dLocal partnered with Brazilian lending platform Daini, allowing global merchants to offer a pay later approach in Brazil. So like lending as a form of small business lending would be interesting. Now, I'm not saying this is the disclaimer, because I'm sure there's going to be other channels that say this is Ripple's letter of credit or line of credit. Excuse me. There is no guarantee that that is the case. What I'm saying is I'm hypothesizing that, this is a use case where Ripple's line of credit could come into play. It may have nothing to do with it right now, but it is very possible. So we're going to look at this briefly. Right here, this new partnership allows global merchants to offer installment payments or pay later approach to their customers in Brazil. And remember, Ripple, just in the summer, this is proof they were meeting with the Central Bank of Brazil. Then, we have dLocal, they're meeting with their partners, they're partnered and integrated with dLocal, via single API. You guys understand how easy software rollout is, no need for hardware, RippleNet Cloud, redundancy. You're up and running in, a matter of weeks instead of 8 months like in the past. All right. So we can see this Daini Pay Later solution enables merchants to get paid up front and in full. Interesting. So whether it's XRP right now, it absolutely could be in the future, which is exciting. Now, in 3 to 9 month installments, the merchant has no credit risk exposure in SMEs. This is what I'm taking note of because remember, if you read the documents of the line of credit for Ripple, it's specifically for these SMEs, small medium enterprises, to be able to scale accordingly when they don't have the funds on hand or at hand. So this is very important to help the little guys get power for once and democratize finance and allow equal opportunity for all instead of just letting the power players like JP Morgan make a killing while everyone else struggles and the mom and pop shop eventually has to go, declare bankruptcy. So this is the technology you guys are investing in. Yes, it's not fun, holding and waiting for years and years and years, but I believe it will be worth it. And I believe this is something that I can get behind. So the merchants, they have no credit risk exposure, blah, blah, blah. SME customer, and then right here, and we'll finish up with this. At DLocal, we are innovators at the heart, and our goal is to bridge the payments innovation gap between developed countries and emerging economies, and Daini shares that ambition with us. Daini is complementing DLocal's hyperlocal Brazilian payment solution with capital accessibility to SMEs to pay for higher value business purchases and invest in their growth via improved technology and digital marketing. Now, network effects, as I often say, and I finish up before I say etc. on this video, on this channel as a joke. You have to understand, these groups are doing this now, and their competitors are taking note. Now, this will grow, and what will their competitors do to stay relevant? They'll have to do something similar or join the same platform or service. So the same thing takes place. If everyone's on RippleNet, well, they're going to have to get on RippleNet, or they're going to have to find another competitor to stay relevant. So it's breeding innovation. So competition through a certain lens is very, very healthy and pushes, innovation and growth. Otherwise, you're just standing still. So very exciting. You can see enabling global merchants to unlock new revenues, get paid up front, frictionless, and risk-free. Interesting. All right, right there, 2017, Ripple announcing DLocal as a partner. You guys can find other documents as well, just so you know. Power in South America seems like it was part of their strategy all along. It's not crazy to think whatsoever. This is pretty factual. Also, Martin Volk, this is an OG post that he did back in May, and I do remember seeing it, I think, or at least this news. Ripple partner DLocal integrates with Shopify. So I'm pretty certain I talked about this, but just showing another integration, guys, future-proofing. I'm not saying, XRP or some other digital asset's going to be on Shopify right now. What I'm saying is interoperability is key, all right? We want to connect all of these payment networks some way. Next, Matthew Liony, guys. This is an old one from November of 2019. Just wanted to show you because it's related to Alipay and DLocal as we showed their integrations. And remember, a huge portion of China's market. UnionPay, WeChat, and Alipay. So, Finabler, tomato, Ripple partner, and Alipay enter into a cross-border remittance partnership. Now, we also know Finabler is directly a Ripple partner as well. All right, so you guys can check this out. Alipay users are set to benefit from seamless access for remittances through Finabler's omni-channel network, which covers physical and digital touchpoints across 170 countries through its brands. Express Money, funny, we just talked about them the other day. We have Travelex, Unimoni, and I think we talked about them 3 weeks ago, and then the UAE exchange. And remember, UAE, Ripple's big time out there. And remember, remittance overall, the fees, roughly 7%. Very, very bad. And here's King Solomon sending him a tip back in the day when we had XRP tip bot like that before it was hashtag XRP tip. Very cool to see that. All right. Next, I'm going to be brief, guys, and call it a day soon. So Mickey B. Fresh, definitely subscribe to him on YouTube if you're interested in Flare Networks and want to learn more about it. So XRP community is returning to its roots, and this is a quote, by exploring the fungible tokens on the XRP ledger DEX. Now, remember, fungibility, well, what's the definition? Essentially, on Google, you can find it, it's mutually interchangeable, or fungible, and an asset that is fungible is defined as something like being able to replace or be replaced by another identical item. So essentially, interchangeability, if that's a word. So very good to know. And yes, this is very important. I'm sure you guys are paying attention to the world of gaming and all of that. And this is the future. Everything, tokenized value will be interchangeable. All right. So I'm going to speed through this and just some commentary from Ripple in the past. So Zachowski of the XRPL system, of course, he's talking about this, and we'll go over it briefly if you guys read that new Ripple Insights article, just talking about the XRP ledger ecosystem poised to build on significant 2020 achievements. Now, this is him talking about DeFi, the dawn of decentralized finance. Of course, Flare, the XRP ledger transaction hooks, that will actually be going live in Q1, Q2, which is all good and great. Thank you to Vice Vind. And Flare, yes, I'm learning. I'm trying to keep up with it, better understand the collateralized debt positions and some ways that we could actually make money accordingly. So I know Flare Networks is a good resource. I know Mickey B. Fresh. I know Crypto Addy is going to be working with him on that. So I'll be, trying to watch whenever I have time. To be honest, though, I really have very little time to, watch a lot of people lately, unless I'm driving. But, I will when I can. All right, so we're expecting the asset tokenization trend to accelerate on the XRP ledger, particularly stablecoin issuance. Now, this is the key word, and it's going to lead into my next point, with multiple production deployments in corporate products built on new and improved tooling. Corporate products, guys, enterprise products, not retail products. Keep that in mind, all right? And this is Mickey B. Fresh. You can follow him right here, Mr. Fresh Time. All right, or right here if you can see it. I'm not sure if my logo blocks it in the top right, so sorry about that. Again, so this was, Michael Zachowski. He's Ripple's head of DeFi. Excuse me, I butchered that earlier. All right, and then Nick Bougalis of Ripple. I don't know anything about this, sorry, but the XRP ledgers, DEX, remember, they have a decentralized exchange, and again, Nick refers to it. It is underutilized, unfortunately. I do wish more people and companies used it for more things, including liquidity aggregation. It would be inter alia, an awesome tool for exchange-to-exchange transfers in near real time. There's a lot of great functionality that the XRP ledger has. It's much more than just a basic ledger, guys, and that is one thing that I feel other communities have no idea about. They don't understand that you can issue IOUs, you can do whatever you want. Stablecoin issuance, and David Schwartz's commentary and explanation of that entire proposal was phenomenal. Also, XRP ledger accounts, KYC information. I'm just going to speed through this, guys. But nonetheless, very exciting. Now, just something to point towards, I'm not really going to go into it, is Andrew Zell sharing this. So what do we have here? Interesting timing. Well, we had that recent job posting talking about including fungible tokens such as stablecoins or security tokens, asset exchanges, and lending. So they're looking for a new decentralized finance product manager for Ripple X based in San Francisco. And interestingly enough, we had David Schwartz kind of putting some tweets in timely news with the US OCC news. Remember, this week, in January 8th, granted banks, guys, this is big, please understand, banks permission to connect to public blockchains, aka connect to cryptocurrency. That is something massive, and yet people are going to complain that prices pulled back or going down, and they're going to be missing the opportunity. All right? So how can they build on their benefits? Well, Ripple CTO Joel Katz, aka David Schwartz, breaks down how banks can issue stablecoins using the XRP ledger. Well, you know who else is aware of this? Some central banks, because they've been informing them for years. And, of course, we saw that central bank document of France back in, I think, February or March, showing Ethereum and the XRP ledger as examples with linking to their central bank digital currency. So it's not just me theorizing this. This is actual, corporates and central banks and governments looking at this technology. So please understand that. All right? And remember, why I think that we're going to be different and beat the majority of ecosystems long term is because we are investing in an asset and in a technology that 99% of people don't even understand. They don't even believe it. Just because its message is against Bitcoin, they dismiss it. And I think they're going to really miss out with having that type of myopic viewpoint. So I'm not focusing on current price like everybody else. That is a thing, right now I'm looking at the current opportunity, that opportunity cost as well. All right. And I know I was kind of tweeting this and referencing this earlier, guys, but Bitcoin, can it reach crazy high prices, meaning high or low? Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen it all along. But is double spending a legitimate concern? And of course, proof of work does not work. Yes, it is a very real concern. Double spending can and does happen. It even happened on Ethereum Classic, in many other forks of Bitcoin. So this is not me, propagating FUD and fear. This is just talking about inherent risks of certain blockchains. And I wish Bitcoin well with the store of value narrative. I don't care if it goes to 100K or if it goes to 0. I'm just saying it is not positioned to adequately solve the payments problem of today. It can be a store of value, it can hold value and do whatever it wants, but we have so much more today. Thanks to Ethereum, thanks to XRP, any other crypto assets for that matter, we have the ability to make money and value programmable, make if and then statements with smart contracts, with extremely fast and efficient settlements, talking fractions of a penny instead of $50 or $7. And keep in mind, no middlemen, no intermediaries, completely peer-to-peer. This has never been done before. Yes, it's a great technology, and people say if it's so great, why isn't it widely adopted? It's already been 10 years. Well, the internet took a little while, and guess what? All the business models that were built 40 to 50 years ago would suffer, at least the rich. So it's going to completely democratize the world of enterprises and banking that we know today. And these guys, like David Schwartz, are well aware of it. All right? So, went over that. Almost done, guys. This was just something I was tweeting the other day. I'm talking about naming your favorite tax haven country. I've just been looking in the different ones, so I listed a bunch right here if you guys want to read those. Named a few here. Of course, Portugal is interesting because, the tax authorities waived all tax on crypto and I believe even precious metals, meaning that individuals do not have to pay capital gains tax on it. whatsoever when buying or selling any other digital assets. I'm sure, and then a lot of great people mentioned some different places down below. So I was just kind of starting a conversation. I know that a lot of people on Twitter are a lot more well-versed and have been to probably a good amount of these countries. So really curious, always learning, and I'll just be reading through that. So I can retweet it as well, just so you guys can see it. So just go on my Twitter if you guys want to read through some of their comments. I always love engaging and just kind of reading more. All right. Also, already said this, the XRP Ledger smart contracts hooks to be released in public testnet Q1 2021, XRP Labs. Awesome. And now this, pay attention. So Grayscale and CoinDesk, keep in mind, are subsidiaries of Digital Currency Group, one of the biggest crypto firms in the world. They're an early investor of Ripple as well, so don't be fooled. This was the other day on the 19th. Adds 18x the Bitcoin mined supply in one day. Then it says, Bitcoin worth $600 million gets taken off the markets as the Bitcoin USD chart, or price, the pair, struggles to cement support for a retest of 40K. So, tricky wording, just essentially saying we're going to retest 40,000. But of course, they don't, tell you the potential pullbacks and dumps that this market can and will have in the future. So it's always a bumpy road up. And I just cannot wait for the worst to be behind us for XRP as well. So I'm going to be paying attention to those court dates, paying attention to the charts, and just please be aware that there's been levels that in 2017 were never retested. So how I like to invest and operate is I prepare for the worst and hope for the best. I've been sidelined for months as I share short-term bags, trading, accumulating when I can. I did make a stupid trade recently with OXT, and now this market pulled it down, but it is what it is. I've done really well this month and then last month, so it's all going to balance out, guys. Just remember, long term, you are going to win in this market, provided you are invested and diversified properly with utility. All right? So keep this in mind. You don't have to make trades every single day to be successful. You have to let the market come to you sometimes. If you take, 20 trades a day, or a week, or a month, I should say a month, you're most likely less profitable than someone that's taking, 3 solid trades in a month. So some opportunities will and may be missed, but the opportunities that land often do result in a much higher return. So that is something that I constantly remind myself as well, because trading, it's not an IQ game. Trading is wholeheartedly a psychological game. And keep in mind, if you see people trading, do not have FOMO. Typically, 99% of long-term investors beat out those people that are always trading with their money, because you can't lose a lot as well. All right? Also, just another headline, officials in Iran claim Bitcoin mining has caused several energy blackouts. Just funny to, read the fear always. There's always, good and bad, just reading it. You saw UBS say crypto's going to zero. Then Goldman Sachs says Bitcoin's going to, hundreds of thousands or 1 million per token. It's just a joke. Also, so, TF, I'm not going to say it out loud for the YouTube algorithm, but, countering all of this, AML, KYC, they're all concerns in the Financial Action Task Force, of course, direct connections to the company Ripple, as we've shown many times before. Well, I just want to say that awkward moment when distributed ledger technology is in fact the solution for all of this and not the enemy. Because guess what? All of this financing, believe it or not, if you guys actually look at the statistics, we're well aware that the majority of this is done in fiat. When it's in Bitcoin or crypto, it's actually a lot more traceable. I'm not talking about privacy coins, I'm talking crypto as a whole. All right. Now, when every world leader in person, in power, at least in the United States where I'm at, I observe they're old, and nothing against them, because I know some people that are absolutely geniuses. They're with it. They're in their 80s, and it's awesome. They're sharp as a tack. But there's a lot of old generations in Congress, as we know. I'm not being political. I literally don't care about being political. What I'm saying is, there's a lot of old people, and they have to change their approach to things. And if we've had this for the past 10 years, and now Janet Yellen, Treasury Secretary, goes on to say it's a concern in this financing, of course it is. Everything is. But they're going to find a way to do it or barter and trade some way. So if this is really going to be your approach, I'm going to be very, very disappointed. Ripple says the new administration is going to be favorable for them. We'll see. I personally am just focusing on the macro and geopolitics of it all, rather than just in the U.S. Of course, we should still focus as a U.S. investor of the lawsuit, because it could affect us in one way or another. But overall, I just think that I'm hoping for a very strong acting comptroller of the currency, kind of like Brian Brooks, because they have some very, very big shoes to fill. So in my next video, guys, I think I'm going to go over some CGI documents, some really exciting stuff, and just remind some people of some huge things that we may have forgotten. And yes, they still apply. So keep that in mind. And all in all, guys, just remember, there's no right way. There's only your path. Make the most of it while you can. Hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified for my next video. And I'll catch you in the next one.